Hey everyone, I'm Troy and today I want to talk to you about panel replacement, replacing a PROA7 Plus, PROA7, or a Vista H3 control panel. As you know, these panels support PROSIX Wireless, and PROSIX Wireless, whenever it's enrolled into a panel, it's locked to that panel until it receives a delete command from that panel, so it will release it and let it go out and work somewhere else, okay? So if you ever have to replace a panel, there's a spot on AlarmNet 360 that you go to, tap the replace button. I'll show you how to do that. Tap replace, you're going to put in the MAC address of the new panel, you're going to put in the MAC CRC of the new panel, and then you're going to replace the panel. Replacing that panel means going to that site, taking the old panel off the wall, powering it down, removing the cell card if you're going to reuse it, and do not power that panel back up on site again. Okay, that panel should be removed from the building just so afterwards you don't accidentally end up powering it back up if it is still functional. What you're going to do is you'll power that panel up, you'll go through the registration process, and then you're going to wait a certain amount of time. The reason you're going to wait is to make sure that all of the sensors get linked up to the new panel before you go into programming. Okay, and when I say go into programming, I mean also don't go into AlarmNet 360 programming page, okay, even on the account overview. If you go into AlarmNet 360 while it's syncing up with its transmitters, you could disrupt that sync method, and those transmitters may not sync properly, and you may lose the transmitter and therefore have to replace the transmitters. Okay, so let's look at what it looks like to do this replacement, okay? So on AlarmNet 360, you're going to click the replace button, okay? When you click that replace button, you'll put in the MAC address and you'll put in the MAC CRC and hit verify. After it verifies it's okay, hit replace, and it gives you a message saying the replacement has been initiated and now it's time to take the old panel down, okay? When you power the new panel up, you'll click the setup button for Wi-Fi. You'll select your Wi-Fi that you're going to connect it to. You'll enter the password, and then you'll hit save. And finally, hit connect. Once connected, you'll hit next. And at that point, you'll hit register. Now what it's doing now is it's downloading the configuration from the previous system. You'll notice there's some chimes. Each time it chimes, it's communicating with one of the sensors. And do not enter programming at this time. Okay? Do not enter programming until you verify that the sensors are communicating. So you can do that by going into sensors, and you can look at the sensors on the right, and you'll see all of the sensors right now it is not fully communicating with. Okay, basically there is no communication to these sensors. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll go back to the main screen and we'll wait. Okay, depending on how many sensors you have, it could take a long time. This system we're replacing here had over 98 sensors on it, so it took a long time. So you'll notice the clock in the upper right corner. We're going to wait for some time and then we're going to go check again. And you'll also notice that it will show you the green signal bars whenever it communicates with the sensor, but no battery level yet. So here it is a few minutes later, and we are looking at the sensors, and we're seeing that our sensors do have a battery level, and they have a signal strength. You'll notice that some of the sensors have a low battery, and really this can be expected whenever a system has, a PROA7, PROA7 Plus, or any, an H3. When these systems stop functioning, those sensors are still trying to communicate to the control panel. What you'll probably want to do is look at some of the sensors with the lowest battery level and tap that sensor, tap that battery, and then check the battery level. You'll see here that this one has a 40% level. Okay? So we know it's communicating. I would recommend that any of the sensors that are not communicating because of dead batteries, that you go ahead and replace those batteries before you go into programming, okay? That way you just make sure that all of those sensors are communicating and there's no risk that you're going to have to replace the sensors, okay? So once you have all your sensors communicating, at that point you can go into programming, make any modifications that you need to make, and you can really turn the system over to the customer at this point. Everything transfers over. You get all of your user codes, all of your panel programming, all of your Z-Wave devices, 100% of everything that was on AlarmNet 360 from the other panel is going to transfer over to this panel. A couple of other tips that you want to make sure of is one, that you make sure that you have AC and a charged battery connected. Okay, if you're doing this without AC, then something could happen and the sensor's not transferred correctly. Okay, so that's it. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave those in the comment section. And don't forget to share this with others and help them to make sure that they have a good transition whenever they do have to replace a ProSeries control panel. See you next time.